Look,
Appreciate it.
I want to show you this.
Oh, man, congratulations on the run and good luck.
I appreciate that, man. So we talking about families first, safer streets, smarter city, which
like
are some of the key things, man, that I think a lot of politicians, a lot of elected officials, like, they just forgot about families, man. So
Man.
that's what we really focusing in our election here, man. So thanks for taking time this morning.
Man, honored to be here.
This election is so important, not just for yourself. I want us to stop thinking about self and think about us all. And my next guest on the show is the epitome of putting out a message for all of us so we can all get out and do our part. YelloPain, what's good, baby?
What's going on?
My Vote Don't Count has just taken your career to a whole nother level. And I want to say thank you for the record. Thank you for the videos, because I know the remix out was 7, but you have really opened up people to where they feel like they do matter again and they gotta vote this election.
Yeah, facts. Most definitely.
What made you feel that you had to put out a record or be a part? Because this has been out since February. Why did you feel so early to get involved in the voting process in 2020?
You know, to be honest, in 2019, late 2019, I had no political background. I didn't even believe in politics whatsoever. I knew nothing about it. My cousin, Desiree Timms, she's running for Congress in the 10th District of Ohio, which is like the Dayton, Ohio area where I'm from.
Yeah.
She came. She was like, cuz, you got a big platform, you know, because I was like getting views and stuff, you know, before this or whatever. She's like, you got a big platform, a lot of people listening. I think you should make a song about voting. And, you know, I was like, cuz, I love you, you know what I mean? But I don't get into the politics. I'm not in that space, you know. And she was like, well, why don't you feel like, you know, your vote matters or voting matters? And I told her, like, I voted for Obama back in 2012. You know, I felt like nothing happened. I was still broke. I was still struggling. My community was still trash. You know, like, what does that really do for us? And that's what a lot of people feel. But she explained to me that it's bigger than just a presidential election, something that I didn't know prior to that. And she was explaining to me about how the Congress works and how the judges work and how everything that goes on in our community is tied, you know, back to voting. And she, you know, she asked me, what would you like to see change? And I was like, well, the potholes in the street is horrible. It's one of the main streets in the city. And, you know, you bumping all the way down the street. They've been working on this. She's like, well, it's an infrastructure bill and a transportation bill that can be passed that can speed this process up, but you just got to have the right person to push for it. And I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, and, you know, like, it was a moment, a wake-up moment I had. I was like, yo, cuz, so you mean to tell me that everything, you know what I'm saying, can be, or this can be changed if we vote, and this can be changed if we vote? And I was like, it was such a wake-up moment, because it was like, I was upset with myself. Like, why don't I know this? Why am I an adult male that doesn't know this? Why don't my community know this? And I was upset with the educational system. Like, you know, why am I in school and, you know, and they teaching me about all these different things, history, etc. And a lot of stuff that I don't even apply in my everyday life that I learned in school, but something that is so important. They give us a quick summary of it. You know, this is a judicial, legislative, executive. They do this, and then it's over with, and then you don't never hear about it again. Like, and I felt a duty to myself and my community at that point to give everybody that same wake up moment that I had.
You're right. A lot of the stuff we're taught it in school, but it doesn't seem to apply, or we don't think it applies to us as adults. But in your video, the first video, which of the two versions, I love 7. Like, that's my girl. I felt like the first video, but it had the teachable kind of moment through the classroom that really grabbed my attention off top. And when you say that, you know, they taught us this in middle school, but we weren't listening. And so that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of lessons, though, that were taught in school that we've either forgotten about or that we just weren't listening to, right? And so I think now you're saying as adult males, as adult anyone watching right now, or anyone that can vote, we have to go back and maybe, I know you don't got those notes anymore, but we got to go back and take that reminder. We got to get that, like, wait, I did learn that there are 3 branches, and it is government at the foundation locally is really what impacts us. And that's why I've wanted to run for mayor of Phoenix, because I've always understood that it's the local politics that affects us more than the national politics, everything at the federal level. Yes, it is all important, but like you talking about the potholes, like we talking about infrastructure, like we talking about access to education at the local level. We're talking about family dynamics and programs. When you talk about homelessness, unsheltered people, when we talk about things that the city can do for veterans, when we talk about so many different programs that affect us daily, we have to understand, we got to retrain people. And your video's doing this, your song is doing this, to learn how important the local election is. Man.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm preaching on your interview. My bad, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here like I'm on the campaign trail.
People got to hear this, whether it's for me, you, or somebody else. So
they got to hear it, bro. They got to hear it. What are things that you're looking for, like in the candidate that you're going to choose to represent you locally and at the national level? What are things that you specifically looking for and that you feel most passionate that anyone watching or listening right now, they should look for in a candidate?
My thing is opportunity. I'm looking for opportunity. And it's a segment in the song, My Vote Don't Count and My Vote Will Count, where I said, imagine life on the other side. Roads better, schools better, everybody get their license back, grocery store food better, custody of your kids back, homeless people get new shelters. If we're gonna fix the U.S., we gotta start with them 2 letters. Exactly. And the U.S. letters, that's us, got to start with us. And those type of things, opportunity for people without it or with limited opportunity. So, that's the things that I'm most passionate about.
Right. And I'm glad you said it as well, because we do have to look, earlier I said that it's got to be less about the self and about us as a community, what's going to be better. But I do also believe that you have to look at yourself, your family, your situation, and are you better than what you were 2 years ago? Are you better than what you were 4 years ago? And if it doesn't align with what you want for your family and doesn't align with any opportunities for you to grow, because it's the American dream, because we have opportunity to do things that a lot of other countries, a lot of other cities, even in your own states, that you may have locally an opportunity to do and you don't have in other places. And I think you got to realize, and you got to really truthfully think, am I better or am I not? Is this what mainstream is saying? Is this what these right and left? And I'm an independent candidate, and that's the way I look at things, on what's best for me and what's best for my family. And I think more people got to realize that as well. Just choose what aligns with you. Not everyone's perfect, because I didn't agree with my parents 100%. And so I think when people are looking to agree with a politician 100%. Well, if you don't even agree with the people that raised you since you were born, in a lot of cases, in most cases, if you don't agree with them 100%, why on earth would you feel that you're going to agree with, and, oh, this politician is great. Well, I don't like him because he said one thing. Well, your parents and your friends and your cousins and everybody, they don't agree with you 100% either. Yeah. And I think we're missing out on good opportunities because there might be 1 or 2 things that don't align with you, but nobody's perfect, man.
Yeah, exactly. And I definitely think that people have to assess the full situation, because at the end of the day, I always try to tell people this. Every election, there are people who show up to vote. Every election. And they're making decisions about your life with or without you. And I'm not talking about the politicians. I'm talking about the everyday voters that go and show up to vote. You have to understand that if you are not a part of this conversation, you are literally choosing to not have a say in what happens in your community and not happens in your personal life. People are like, oh, vote that don't affect my personal life. Yes, it does. You want more money on your check every 2 weeks, but you don't go vote for somebody who might be in favor of higher minimum wage or whatever, might personally affect you. I don't like to get into issues or talking about specific issues, because at the end of the day, it's custom to you and what you like or what you're interested in. Find somebody whose interests align the most and won't hurt you and the people that you love and, care for it. And I'm talking about community or family the most, and vote for them. You got to be a part of it.
My girl, one of the hardest lines that she likes out of the whole video, she's like, "That's a bar," is what the woman at the first video was saying at the very end. And you just kind of touched on it. Yeah. Because if you don't show up to vote, somebody's glad you didn't show up to vote. and they'll be happy to make all the decisions for you, man. Who was that? Who was that?
That was Desiree. That was my cousin, Desiree Timms. That's
okay. There you go. Were you staying away from backing her politically because you didn't want to be like, well, I don't know if I fully align, or I don't know if I should jump in it, or was it because like I just don't really understand politics to fully endorse a candidate, or I don't want to make your campaign look a certain way? Was it a little bit of both, or?
I mean, the reason why I hadn't done that is because I think it would take away the intelligibility of the message and the passion. I think, making it about a candidate, whether it's my cousin or, the president of the United States, or, somebody running against the president of the United States. If I make it about a specific person, then someone may look at it like, oh, this is an advertisement, or this is an attempt. Like, you have to understand that this is bigger than any specific candidate. And I love my cousin to death. I support her outside of her congressional race. If she get a flat tire at 4 a.m. and I'm in Atlanta and she in Dayton and nobody else is coming, like, give me 8 hours, I'm gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just bigger. It's a little bit bigger than the specific endorsement. And I don't want people to get too clouded in the message, but also I make sure I never do an interview without people knowing, who inspired me to do this.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Speaking of inspiration, I put a video out a couple of weeks ago where I had a conversation with Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. And in that conversation, he had told me that the highest human act is to inspire. And I was like, man, that's resonated with me ever since we had that conversation. And it almost reminds me when Pac said he may not change the world, but he's going to spark the mind that's going to change the world. It was that weight to me. And I put my promo video out, and because the question was asked, why am I running? And when you say that's, that the inspiration, I really wanted to give people hope, because I understand I got in this race super late. I'm a write-in candidate, but I appreciate everyone who has written my name. They're showing me the pictures on their phone. They're taking screenshots, whatever they're doing, they're sending them to me. And I appreciate that, because if I don't win, that's okay. Because to me, this is a win-win, because somebody's going to see that you can come from hip hop. The only other person I can think of off top would be Scarface, Brad Jordan out of Houston, who ran the last election in 2018, I believe. And so when you think about people that come from hip hop and you do radio and you DJ or you're an artist, you said something right now interesting, that you wanted people to take your cousin seriously. And that's one thing that I've been kind of dealing with, is people think, is this a publicity stunt? Or are you really real about running for mayor? Well, here locally, I had to leave my radio station. I had to step down so I could focus on the race, so people would understand, like, this is very serious. And so being in radio 21 years, I feel like what you had said does make a lot of sense, because it seems that we don't get taken seriously. You can be doing whatever other career, and all of a sudden you want to run. But if you come from entertainment or radio, DJing, and artists, it seems like we always have to work twice as hard just to be proven that we're serious about something.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just part of, people see you in a certain light, and they want to see you only in that light. That's what they like and know you for. So, it's like when I think about my favorite comedian, I don't necessarily think of him as I want him to make the laws that, control my life. But I think, working twice as hard and making sure, that people understand that it's coming from a genuine place, and you're not just trying to like make some type of publicity stunt, and you really connect with people, they're going to feel it and they're going to respect it eventually, whether it's this time or you run again in, 2 years or 4
You never
years.
know, man. I'm not a politician, and if this is the path that I'm supposed to kind of go through, I'm down to go with it, man. I know you do the inspirational videos as well. If there is one or two messages or key pieces of advice you want to give people to be the best they can be, whether it's to go out and vote, whether it's personally, career-wise, give it to them right now.
I would try to tell people is don't make this about you. And I'm not just talking about the election, but even with the election, you have to keep your community and your family and people in mind, as more specifically with voting. Your children and your children's lives are affected by the decisions that you make today and tomorrow. So make sure that you're moving with other people in mind, because everybody has a potential to impact somebody's life and change the world.
Say no more, baby. Say no more. Say no
Period.
more. YelloPain, I'm gonna get your info. I already follow you on Instagram. I've been following since Tech put that video out. But I'm gonna send you the shirt if you don't mind, and you gotta send me one of them YelloPain shirts back.
You already know I got you. I appreciate you too. That's love on the shirt.
Hey, for sure, man. Thank you so much, YelloPain.
You already know. Good luck on everything.